Hello, Spring Hill family. We're here today with Bron Dixon for another moment for gratitude.
Well, thank you, Harvey. Just a little background. I grew up in a small Baptist church in South Carolina. And then I moved to Mobile and I became the choir director in a Methodist church for about 15 years. And then I got smart and I started visiting the Presbyterian Church. And I visited for about 5 years at this church and sang in the choir and everything. And then finally, I decided to join. So I love the organization of the Presbyterian Church. And that's what got me hooked on the Presbyterian Church when I came here. And then I met so many wonderful people here, and I've learned so much from each person I've met. They're just wonderful people here, and we've been so lucky to have great worship leaders ever since I've been here, from the time Vernon Hunter was here when I joined here. And then we've had wonderful leaders ever since then. And of course, what really hooked me onto this church, of course, I served on the session for a while, served as a deacon for a while, and that's where I really learned the organization of the church. But what really hooked me on this church was the music. As being a former choir director and all, and we used to call this church, the choir was called the choir for choir directors. I think we had about 7 or 8 choir directors in this church at one time. But everybody loves the music here. And now we're blessed. We have the best music director in the whole country. We just love Randy. He's not only just a good music director, but he's a wonderful person and a wonderful leader for our church family and our choir family. And what I've enjoyed a lot about the pandemic, I miss coming to church, but sitting in my computer room at home and watching it every Sunday morning in my pajamas, most of the time, my cup of coffee, and watching the service. And the music that Randy comes up with every Sunday, he's working so hard, and it's a lot harder now than it is if we didn't have anybody in here. But anyhow, when he has people like Patrick Jacobs singing solos, and I can sit in my computer room and sing along with Patrick Jacobs. That's the only time I get to sing a duet with him. But I sing as loud as I want to in my computer room. And my music to me during the pandemic has just been marvelous. Randy has done such a super job. And we've got so many wonderful musicians in our choir that's been doing this and leading the services. And of course, we've had out-of-town people that are working too. But I cannot tell you how grateful I am to this church for what they've done during the pandemic. And it's a lot, like I said, it's much harder work during the pandemic for them, trying to get all this technical business going. Because, you know, I'm not a technical person, and I can appreciate anybody that's having to go through all of that and get it done. So let me tell you, I am grateful of our church leadership, our worship leadership, and our musicians, and that's what keeps me at this church. And the people that I love here, our church family, is wonderful. And thank you so much for letting me be a part of this wonderful church and our friendships and the musical, especially the musical program. Randy, we love you. Stay with us forever. Don't you ever retire.